Welcome to the SignWriting stream, where we show, teach, and demo all about Sutton SignWriting. Today, we're going to talk about fonts, applications, and an Obsidian plugin. Right now, we have 6 fonts planned. The first is the ISWA 2010 SVG database. This is the base SVGs that are available in an SQLite database. It's used for Node. And I'll show that in a second. We are going to be recreating the Sutton SignWriting line, the Sutton SignWriting fill, and the Sutton SignWriting 1D fonts. Those are all going to get the SignWriting null character. No other major plans or changes are planned for those fonts, but it will have the updated SVG. We have the Sutton SignWriting 2D font, which we have the plans for. We have a working prototype, and we also have more current developments. I'll show more about that. And then there's also the Sutton SignWriting Mono font that is useful for terminals and command lines. So let's get started. All right, well, for font developments, the production fonts are ready to install. You can see the Sutton SignWriting font guide for installation and instructions. Later, I'll have a new font installation guide, and that will be available when the current font development is done. If we go over to the font guide, you can see that we have the 2 fonts available for SVG, which are the Sutton SignWriting line and the Sutton SignWriting fill. Those are the actual font file links. We also have the Sutton SignWriting 1D font. We have our development plans for the 2D, but we do not have that ready yet. So if you're going to install on Windows, Linux, or Mac, you can just simply follow the installation instructions for just a regular TrueType font. If you're on Mac or iOS, you will probably need to use a configuration file. There's a Sutton SignWriting symbol configuration profile, which has the line and the fill fonts inside that. And there's also the Sutton SignWriting 1 configuration profile, and that has the 1D font inside of it. You don't need to install these fonts, but if you want to use them on local applications, or if you want web pages to load faster, you will want to install these fonts. You can see we have the font face that we use in CSS when we're doing web development and things like that. All right. Like I said, also the font source. This is what I'm going to be modifying. You can find these the SVG source under Slavinsky SignWriting 2010 fonts. Look in the source, and we have the SVG line font and the SVG fill, and that all gets wrapped up into the database, and then that all gets put into the TrueType fonts that I am developing. Yes, after I refactor the SVG images and add the new null glyph, we are going to have a new ISWA 2010 SVG database. You can find the database right now in the Sutton SignWriting Font DB package. That link right there. We'll go up to the Sutton SignWriting Font database, and if you look in the database directory, you can find that we have our ISWA 2010 DB file right there. The Sutton SignWriting line font that uses Unicode private use area plain 15 characters. You won't be typing these characters in yourself, but the font TTF package is what creates those characters using that font. Same thing for the Sutton SignWriting fill font that uses plain area 16, private use area. Again, the font TTF will create these characters and put them into the SVG. For the Sutton SignWriting 1D font, this font uses the SignWriting in Unicode characters, the SWU. I'm going to be showing those in a second here. We also have the Sutton SignWriting 2D font. We have a previous prototype from years ago, but there's also new developments thanks to Amit. It uses the SignWriting in Unicode characters as well. And I can go to that page. You can find this under the Sign Language Processing group with the SignWriting Fonts project. You scroll down, you see that they're using the Sutton SignWriting 1D font. And then they are developing the Sutton SignWriting 2D font. So I'm going to be checking out to see how useful this is and if I can make use of it as well. If you go to the font guide again, you can go down here to the Wikimedia grant for 2D font development. This has an interesting details that I put into the grant. It never got funded, but it does have some good links. Like right here, we have the design options. And that goes to a UTC document. See it in ASCII, SignWriting in Unicode. Another option that I did not move forward with. Specify the fonts and then actual font development. So hopefully I will have some good luck with making the 2D font, and that should be available later this year. There's also the Sutton SignWriting Mono font. Well, this is a font that's planned. It uses the SignWriting in Unicode characters, but the Mono font is needed for the command line and some terminal applications. It will probably be combined with a free font for programming, and it will add the ISWA and the other SWU characters to that font. Right now, if you look on the command line, you're probably going to see squares or triangles or diamond shapes, just saying that the character doesn't have a font specified. All right, well, when you're using formal SignWriting in ASCII, FSW characters, that's universally supported wherever ASCII is supported. Now, the SignWriting in Unicode, the SWU characters, that requires a Sutton SignWriting 1D font and some configuration so that you can view it in the various applications. All right, let's actually grab some SWU characters here. All right. All right, here is a demo page that has just some SW characters at the top, and then what the display should look like in the 2 dimensions. I'm going to copy these characters right here. And then I'm going to paste them in the terminal. All right, now if I paste these characters, you can see that we have these boxes. That's not what we want. And that's why the terminal needs the monofont, so we can specify that. All right, well, let's take a look at VS Code. In VS Code, we can use the Sutton SignWriting 1D characters, but we need to go to settings, we need to search for font, and then in the editor setting for the font family, we need to add the Sutton SignWriting 1D. As you can see on here, we have our 1D characters. And that is because if we go down to settings, search for font, you can see that under the editor font family, all right, if we take a look at VS Code, we can actually see our SWU characters. And that is because if you go in settings, search for font, under editor font family, you can see that we have added our Sutton SignWriting 1D. And that means that we can see that now. Also, I'm using Obsidian, and for that, we need to go to settings, appearance font, interface font, and add the Sutton SignWriting 1D. Now I have Obsidian up and running. And if you go over here, you can see that we can see our SWU characters. And I can even paste those characters that I had in before. Now this is under settings, appearance, font, interface fonts. You can see we have the Sutton SignWriting 1D. Manage, we have it right there. Now, other applications that can use text, we can set the font to be the Sutton SignWriting 1D font. So let's go ahead and open Notepad. Regular Notepad, if we paste this in, no, not Notepad. Let's go to Excel. In Excel, if we paste in our characters, we can just see it has boxes. But if we go down here, font family, Sutton SignWriting 1D. And there we can see our SWU characters in Excel. It works in other programs, Word or email, things like that. All right. Both formal SignWriting in ASCII FSW and SignWriting in Unicode SWU, they work well in Markdown and HTML as well. We need to set an HTML style property to view SWU characters in Markdown. We can actually just include a span right inside our Markdown file and specify the font family. For Markdown files, you can also create static HTML websites. and Markdown files that can also be integrated with the SignWriting web components. I've been working on an Obsidian plugin for SignWriting. I have the sample plugin up and running and working, so that's great. I've also been working on integrating the SignWriting web components. It's a work in progress. I'm running into some issues, but I'm working through them. One thing I may need to add the fonts to the plugin. The other is I may need to refactor the SignWriting web components for Node. This will really give us a powerful editor for our SignWriting, and it is Markdown focused as well. I will keep you posted. Now, Pandoc is a very interesting application as well. It can take our Markdown files with some YAML data, and we can create PDFs, we can create static websites, we can create EPUB or even PowerPoint. Once I get the SignWriting web components integrated into Obsidian, I can integrate them into Pandoc as well, and hopefully we will be able to have much nicer printed material and a nice editing environment. All right, well, I have a lot of work to do. Interested if you have any questions or comments. Oh, I see that the Portuguese subtitles are useful. They are automated generated. Not the best. It's what I can do easily right now. It only works when I'm doing the PowerPoint screen share, but I will work on better and more options, and hopefully part of the when I'm sharing my screen that can have the captions as well. Well, I've got to get back to work. There were some references used in this live stream. I'm going to post these links on Gitter, and I hope that you stay tuned. Hopefully have lots more interesting developments to come. All right. Thank you very much.